Sorry about that, guys. We had a small issue with the live link. I'm hoping now we are going to get a. Hey, poleni sana bana. Leo we have had problems with these links. I don't know what is happening na the YouTube links today. Leo zinaonekana zimekula ngori sana, but poleni sana. So again, we have this the second link we are shifting to, but forgive us, tuwie radhi, sio sisi tunaosababisha maneno haya, but we continue whatsoever. So Antis Mons anasema si nyinyi mnaanza kuongea stories za za kuongea stories za ile ni kubwa hapa, alafu mnafanya link ipuliwe down. So where were we? Nani anasema rent? Nani anasema ati CK nikaa ule jamaa amekata net. Elisha Kiruyu, si nyinyi mna mention hiyo kitu hapo. You see guys, when you mention these things happen. And now you see it's true. Aya, tulikuwa naongea you guys make my days. Anyway, we proceed with what you were talking about. You were talking about the Hilux, the Prado versus Fortuner. You cannot put these cars hand in hand. One is a pickup that has been modified to be an SUV. The other one is a fully fledged SUV with a wide variety to choose from. So Antis Mons pia anasema tulikuwa kwa Prado na Pajero. So I think we had hiyo tulikuwa tume wrap up kidogo. There was somebody earlier on who I noted the question just before we went down. His question was on Probox, hybrid ama non-hybrid kwa ushago. That question, the answer to that is very simple. Probox non-hybrid. Kama ni ushago non-hybrid. Collins Namalo is saying, hey Eric, I'm looking into buying my first car with a budget of around 800k. I'm inclined towards the Mazda Axela 2012-2013. Is this a solid choice? That Mazda Axela is called the smiley face, and it's a very, 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 very good vehicle. If you're considering buying it, I would tell you buy it anytime. You see, these the smileys, they were very reliable. They did come with a CVT gearbox. The later generations came with a CVT gearbox. Now, actually, almost all smileys came with a CVT, but it was a very reliable gearbox. They were very good on fuel economy. The interior, ni venye tu zilikuwa interior yake pale juu zikichomekana jua zilikuwa zinaanza kukaa fani. So if you're buying a smiley, make sure unaweka kitu ya kufunika hapo kwa dashboard. But in all, they were good cars. So yes, it's a solid choice. Kenyan Murphy is saying, instead of getting a Prado, why not get a Fortuner? Because they are not. Hiyo ni kama kusema saying if you see, if you're looking for a Prado, you're looking for a Prado. A Fortuner will not match your needs. And I've explained why at length. I've told you a Fortuner is based on a Hilux. In fact, the difference between a Hilux and a Fortuner is suspension ya nyuma. Na sasa the fact that this is an SUV, it's more of a modified SUV. But in terms of handling, in terms of the value, in terms of space, in terms of suspension, in terms of handling, Prado wins over the Fortuner. Ni kama wacha nisitumie example sababu inaweza fanya net iende tena. Sawa. Tyson Ochola is saying, hey, talk about the VW Tiguan Blue Motion. The Blue Motion Tiguan is actually a very, 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 very good choice to have if you're thinking of buying a Tiguan. And I'll say this because I've driven one. There's one we imported last year, and I drove it from Mombasa to Nairobi. The fuel economy on it is very impressive. The torque is good, and you enjoy driving it. I would argue that you enjoy driving a diesel Tiguan than you would enjoy driving a petrol one. When you mate that diesel engine with that 2-liter diesel engine with the DSG transmission, manze, the driving feel is just out of this world. The other thing is the Tiguan, amesema nini? By the way, amesema Blue Motion. Oh yes. So the other thing is these diesel Tiguans, they come with 4-wheel drive for motion as standard. The petrol ones, most of them zitakuja zikiwa 2-wheel. So the diesel ones do have an advantage. However, it is advisable that you take good care of them. Innocent Mugabe, our fellow friend from Uganda. So Innocent is saying, I'm considering buying a Toyota Carina because the Toyota Corona Premium is overrated. Innocent from Champara. So Carinas were nice cars. In fact, you see those cars, there was the Premio Corona, there was Corona Premio, and there was the Carina, there was kulikuwa na gari ingine moja hapo. So the Carinas are nice. They are almost the same thing. Only that now, in fact, the Carina, I would say ilikuwa inakaa fiti sana. Those Carinas looked very good. They were nice. They were comfortable, and the undercarriage na pia engine, shocks nini uko suspension, they do share a lot with the likes of Akina Nyoka and other Toyota. So even the Carina is a good, I would say it's also a good option to consider. Peter Kingpin is saying 2018-2019 NX300 F Sport AWD versus CX5 versus BMW X3. One thing is, I don't think it's fair to compare the NX300 to a CX5. NX300 is a very mature, even in terms of pricing, the NX is quite expensive. The CX5 hapa, BMW X3 should be compared to the NX300. Hapa tunaweka CX5, sidhani tunafaa kuwa tunaiweka hapo. CX5 iweke huko kwa Harrier, huko kwa Forester, huko itafiti, but kwa NX na kwa X3 hapo naona kidogo it's not going to fit in there. So but if you would ask me which would be my pick between the three, I would pick the NX300. Yeah. Mark Miner is saying, Okabi, please advise Swift RS or Mazda 2 petrol first time car. Go for Mazda 2 because of the gearbox. Simon Mwema Peter is saying, waiting for the episode of South Africa. Ni mwecheche. Iyo Simon ni mwecheche. Iyo Monday saa mbili. Because the other thing that makes that episode also more interesting is the fact that we have shot it in a very different way. The narration is also very different. It's also very intense. So you'll also get to experience and enjoy that part of it. David Kamomina is saying, instead of buying a used Prado VXL for 12 million, who can't I buy a 0 mileage MUX for 9 million? I mean, you get the same power warranty and it's also a 0 mileage. Now, David Kamomina, when you talk about the MUX and the Prado VXL, there are things that it's actually a very valid discussion that you're bringing up, and the MUX is now being assembled in Kenya, but you cannot compare an MUX to a Prado. Honestly speaking, because you see the MUX and the MUX can be directly compared to a Fortuner. It cannot be directly compared to a Prado, and I'll tell you this for free. And there is a reason why. You see, whenever there are a series of clients we get, people and by the cost of a VXL is not 12 million, baba. 12 million, kama uliambiwa ni 12 million umeuziwa sana. The price of a VXL imported from South Africa is the same price as an MUX that is being sold 0 mileage. And the Prado VXL will be around, most of them are 2023, 2022. So kama unauziwa VXL 12 million unaibiwa. So again, the Prado VXL and the MUX have significant differences. However, mtu wa kutoa gari Westlands aende town kazi hawezi elewa hizi tofauti until you're given that car to drive for over 1,000 kilometers. I'll explain why. One, the VXL has superior range ya diesel. Why so? You have Nasia Tinatetea VXL, by the way. You have 2 tanks. Fuel capacity is 150 liters. The MUX ni ngapi? So this tells you, and this from personal experience, a VXL can drive the entire length of Tanzania without refueling. Tuko pamoja? Haya, number 2, suspension setup. The Prado has a superior suspension compared to an MUX. In fact, kama umebebwa na MUX unafaa ubebwa na hiyo gari. You cannot match the comfort of a VXL to that of an MUX. Hapo kuna tofauti. MUX weka kwa ligi ya Fortuner. The other thing is fuel economy. Believe it or not, the VXL has better fuel economy compared to the MUX. So that's all something else to really take into perspective. So the person who is looking for a VXL is not the person who is looking for an MUX. Are we together? And I hope you get to understand, because you see, the people who buy VXLs, there's a reason why utaona politicians wananuanga VXLs. Hata sahi tukienda campaign season, you will see the demand for VXLs will be so high. And I tell you guys, unless you are into intense driving, you cannot tell why it's important to get a VXL instead of an MUX. The MUX is a nice car, but hiyo class yake ni ya Fortuner. Tuko pamoja? Yeah, so let it remain there. I hope you get where I'm coming from. So the target market for VXLs is not the target market for Fortuners. The other thing, and note this very carefully, aftermarket accessories, especially for off-roading, for Fortuner, for MUX, hapana. In fact, they are very limited. For VXLs, ukitaka a good off-road setup, you get it. The other thing, manze, VXL iko na deflux mbili. So you cannot understand unless you're into intense driving, and that is why the VXL has a very, very, very specific niche. Ndio maana VXL hainunuliwangu na any Tom, Dick and Harry. Yeah. So na pia VXL is very niche. Other Prados, TXL, TX, hizo zinanunuliwa na watu wa point A, TZG, watu wa point A to point B, watu wanataka tu gari kubwa. But for guys who are doing extreme terrain, they know why they go for a VXL. It's hard to explain if you're not one of them. Tuendelee. Okay. Josh Homan is glad to be here. Asante sana Josh. Gary Tush is saying, hey Eric, I intend to buy a family car and I'm torn between Honda Stream RZ and a Fielder, both 2014. Online they say go for Honda. What's your take? I will say go for the Fielder, because the Fielder has superior. The Fielder has better fuel economy compared to the RZ. The Fielder also, ni venye tu it has high affinity for theft, but in terms of, you see, it's also good to look at, and there's a time we were with Morris in Mombasa. Morris is one of the guys who does scouting for us for the cars we source for clients in Mombasa, and he said this: when you're buying a car, it's also important for you to consider that nikipatwa na ngori, or for our Ugandans whom I don't understand, if things happen and I need to sell something really quickly, RSZ hiyo stream utaipeleka hadi kule kwa soko, utaita hadi wale, unaona wale wase wananyanga sema mari, utawaita wa announce hiyo gari. But a Fielder, very quick turnaround time. So if you look at all factors constant, and I'm going to talk about them. Number 1, reliability, Fielder wins. Number 2, fuel economy, Fielder wins. Number 3, ease of maintenance and availability of parts, Fielder takes it. Anyone who would like to challenge that as ataka any challenge, but if you're looking at a car that you the only problem with the Fielder ni wizi, na sometimes unapata zinauzwa bei ya juu, but Fielder will never let you down. That's, you see, we have to also not be emotional and talk about facts on the ground. Muriuki Marigi saying, Bwana Sike, kwani umerudi kwa net ya Mzansi? Talk a little about the VW Touareg 7L. Muriuki bwana huku watu unajua wanataja maneno ya nyoka, na mimi sipendi nyoka, na unajua ukitaja maneno ya nyoka hapa net inaenda. Juzi tukiwa pale Prince Drive mlitaja maneno sijui ya, mlisema hiyo kitu ati tukifunga April mnasema haturudi haturudi Mei, neti stima zikapotea hizi. So mkianza kutaja maneno ya nyoka hapa na mkitaja hiyo maneno hapa tena, mnaona vile kunaenda. So anyway, Touaregs I would say Touaregs are interesting cars and they are not for everyone, but they are really nice cars. If well taken care of, they can supersede your expectations. Personally, if I was asked, not factoring in the cost of maintenance and all that, a Touareg is actually a vehicle I would buy because it's not there shouting new money. Iko na kauzai fulani, iko na kaubuda fulani, mtu ako na mali yake na hataki kuonyesha kila mtu ako na pesa. You get, that's the vibe these Touaregs get. And you see, I would also say that the Touareg is an underrated vehicle in the Kenyan car market, same as the Audi Q7. But I would say it's all about taste and preferences. But Touaregs are nice cars, if well taken care of. If you use shortcuts on Touaregs, they'll show you bad things. James Kinyo is saying, how is Toyota Luxel comparing it to Carina? Which Toyota Luxel? Are you talking about the NZD Luxel? Kama unaongea kuhusu NZD Luxel na Carina, hizo ni gari mbili tofauti sana. In terms of, what they offer, comfort, nini. Carina is a bit older. Yeah. David Kamaumaina is saying, Wakabi, would you advise for one to go apprenticeship garage ama mtu aende shule kufanya automotive engineering? Enda apprenticeship. And I'll tell you this. So we have a garage in Eldoret, Neon Mobility. And nimewambiwa tuko na Subaru clinic from Friday. So bring your Subarus for a free clinic. Tunafanya free checkup, free diagnosis, and everything, and amazing deals on parts. So at our garage, kuna time tuliita watu from the schools around. You are looking for interns. Na most of them unapata mtu amekwambia ako na CV kubwa, anakwambia nimefanya sijui automotive, nimefanya mechanical. Haya, first interview naambia badilisha brake pads, and they can't. In theory they can explain how to change brake pads, but practically they cannot. So the only reason why you would go to study automotive engineering is because automotive engineering is you will get papers. But if you want to get knowledge, and apprenticeship. And I'll give you practical examples. You see, like most of the good mechanics we have in Kenya today, most of them have studied through apprenticeship. If you go to some of these dealerships, Akina Sifao, Akina Simba Corp, name them, you'll find that most of their good technicians have actually learned the art of being a mechanic through apprenticeship. It's good that these days we have academies that are being opened up by these dealers, but the experience you will get as an apprentice, you can never get it hata ukienda shule, especially these modern day schools yenye mnafanya exam na AI. Ama unaenda kwa TV tunafunzwa kazi ya mechanic na gari ya carburetor. Although there was something very interesting on the papers, the Business Daily, that most government cars will now be sent to TVETs after zimetumika badala ya kupelekwa auctions, watu waende wasome nazo, which is a very good move, because so we are in the hybrid era and somebody is teaching automotive na gari ya carburetor ama na brakes aligning, na sahi tunaenda brakes you brake by wire. So yeah, that's why I always say apprenticeship is best. Hata ukienda upata hizo papers, make sure umeenda kiwanja kusomea. DP is saying, with the current situation, are prices of buying spares from Dubai affected? Definitely yes. Ngigi is saying, hey Eric, how is Townes Noah versus the current Noah looking for reliability in business? So Ngigi, when you talk about Townes Noah, you're talking about hii Toyota Townes yenye ilikuwa inaitwa nguruwe. Tell me kama hiyo ndio gari tunaongelea. Evans Mugambi is saying, Wakabi, should I get an Impreza 1600cc or Mazda Axela 1500cc, both 2018? Go for the Mazda Axela 1500cc. Evans is saying, for a first-time car buyer with a budget of 800k, the pay best option between Honda Fit, Nissan Note, Demio New Shape, and Suzuki Swift. I would go for the Mazda Demio as my first option. My second option would be the Honda Fit. Peter Odida is saying, between Subaru Impreza and Mazda for first-time car owner, I would choose Mazda. Peter Kingpin is saying NX300 F Sport versus CX5 versus BMW X3. Nilikuambia hapo Mazda CX5 haifai kuwa kwa hiyo category. Mazda CX5 ipeleke huko kwa Harrier, Forester huko. NX300F na X3. X3 will give you performance, will give you luxury, and it looks good, but it will not give you the reliability Lexus and X300 will give you. So that's I'm a BMW fanboy. I love BMWs so much, but if you asked me to pick between the two, I would go for the NX300. Trevi Wesonga is saying, Amanda wapi? Trevi. Ako wapi Trevi? Where is Trevi? There's a very interesting question. Trevi Wesonga is saying, hey, okay. Where does this comment keep going away? Trevi is saying, hey, we are thinking of direct import 308 petrol 1.6 liter for my sister. What's your take on it? It's a very good car. If you know what these Peugeots don't like is they don't like kuchokorwa. If you maintain it routinely, they are very good cars. And if you'd like to import it, we can import it for you because we have a fully operational importation desk. Mary Mwanzia is saying, is a Subaru BH5 a good car? 2-liter NA in terms of fuel economy and reliability. Mary Mwanzia, the moment you talk about a BH5 2-liter naturally aspirated, and then go ahead to talk about fuel economy, hapo unapotea sana. They are nice cars. BH5s are nice cars, but they are not economical on fuel. That is something that most people will shy away from telling you, but that is the honest truth. They are not very economical on fuel. If you compare it to other cars in its class, it's significantly thirsty, especially if it's automatic. Wawero Peter is saying, niko na Suzuki Swift Sport 6-speed MT 2012 ZC32 nataka kupeana. Sijui kama utachukua na ngapi. Alafu talk on the Subaru Impreza GP3 1.6 liter upgrade. Reason, tulipata twins and we need space. Yeah, the GP3 is actually a good upgrade. Only that if you're coming from the Swifts with the 6-speed MT, utasikia hiyo ikiwa driving thrill hiyo itakuwa mezesha sana. You're going to feel the difference. It's a good car, but the GP3 you're going to feel in terms of driving thrill. You're going to leave here ukuje hapa, but it's bigger, it's more spacious. Alafu tena now you're becoming a family man, so mambo ya ati clutch cheza na fimbo inaenda ikiisha, umeanza kuwa mzai. In fact, after the GP3 labda utaanza kuuliza kuhusu fielder ama kuuliza kuhusu Nissan Tida. But that's on a light note anyway. But one thing you're going to feel as a very big difference between these two cars is in I would say is in the driving dynamics. Utasikia tofauti kubwa sana. So yes, it's a good upgrade, but you're losing a gem. Karota Uganda, good evening family. Good evening Karota Uganda. John Kagosing from Ruiru. VXL ni kinara. It has no contender. I like what you're saying, baba. Unajua watu wanazionanga tu kwa barabara, hawazijui. Yes, you know, if you have not driven a VXL, I don't think you might have the right to have an opinion about it. What gives you a qualification to have an opinion about a VXL is first of all driving it, and not driving it from Sijui Expressway. No, drive that car. You tow up aina nayo Mombasa. That way, people are going to know what we are talking about. John Guido is saying Honda Fit hybrid versus non-hybrid. I would go for non-hybrid any day, anytime. But also depends on generation. If it's from 2020, hybrids are not bad because they come with the ECVT. But the ones with the DCTs, I would say avoid them. Honda have reliable hybrid systems, but rule of the thumb is the simpler, the better. So, Peter Mukusu is saying between Mazda Demio DY3 and DY5 versus Mazda Verisa for a first time owner. You see, they are more or less okay. But why would you put these cars together, my brother? The Verisa is more of a, I would say the Mazda the Verisa is it's newer kushinda hiyo Demio DY because the Demio DY was the first generation of the Demio. DY ni ile ilikuwa Demio kubwa iko na wacha hii Kamayai. Unajua kuna hii Demio inaitangwa Kamayai the DJ, na wacha hii the current one that we are having on our roads. So the DY is the very first one, and the DY, if you compare it to the Verisa is I would say the Verisa shares quite a lot with the Demio Mayai, ile inavunjikanga torsion beam ya nyuma. But if you were to ask me, I would go for the Verisa because it's a bit more refined compared to the DY. But the DYs are also good vehicles. But it also depends on what you're looking for because they share quite a lot. These vehicles share quite a lot. Sawa. So let's see where tuone watu wanauliza nini na watu wa Eldoret. By the way, I'll keep on reminding you, we do have a Subaru clinic that will be coming your way from Friday, so it's absolutely free. Leta Subaru yako ifanyiwe kazi na itakuwa it will be in partnership with RBK Automotive and also Subaru Kenya. Subaru Kenya have supported Neon Mobility for a very long time, and we really appreciate what Subaru Kenya has been doing for Neon Mobility. Tyson Ochola is saying, okay, wacha kwanza tuongee na Pat na Evans. Okay, wacha turudi hapa nyuma. So, hi Eric, what would I go for between a 2019 CX-8 2.2 diesel AWD or 2.5 diesel 2016 Subaru Forester? Kwanza toa hiyo Forester hapo. Toa Forester kabisa because it does not fit hapo. So Brian, mimi naona hapa ukiweza pata hiyo CX-8 ya 2.5 liter turbo, that will be the answer. But pia ya diesel si mbaya. The diesel gives you better fuel economy compared to the petrol one. I love the petrol one for the performance aspect. So kama wewe si mtu wa kuangalia pump, petrol will work best for you. If you want performance and talk at let's say a good bila hiyo pressure kwa pump, then go for this other one. Diesel. Samuel Njoroge saying, hey Eric, Mazda Bongo diesel a good car in terms of reliability. Mazda Bongo diesel banzi zimekuwa na their fair share of challenges, but they are used sana kwa matatu hizo area za Kerio Valley huko Kabarnet kwenda all the way to E10. The biggest problem nazo inakuanga turbo failure, na nanga zinawekwa turbo ya 2KD and they serve very well. So I would say well, it's not bad, but pia it needs a very, very, very keen eye. Gungi James saying, hi Eric, with the development of more new cars, ikifika 2030 watu wa Mark X GRX 130 talking about resale value, si itatuchoma sana. What do you think inaweza maintain value kama NZD? I'll tell you one thing, we are living in very interesting times. Unakumbuka kuna time what were these cars called? There was kuna two time field ya matako about ilikuwa ina hold value, and then all of a sudden things change. You know, when you get to the era of more efficient cars, and let me tell you one thing. You see, there are cars that will never lose value. Come classic cars, guys who have Mercedes Benz 124s, the W112 zile za kitambo. These are cars that will never lose value because they are considered to be gems. Well, I don't think there is a day that will come and the markets will be considered. But anyway, it's possible because even their ancestors, like in a Toyota Cressida, they are also highly valued. But I can say interesting times. We cannot really predict what resell value. You see, the problem is we are living in very unpredictable times. Tunaenda hivi, then boom, you hear GM wameanza kutoa ma V8 engines tena. So we are living in very unpredictable times. So all we can do is wait. Alafu tena unajua, yes, the best thing is just to wait and see. Let's not talk about things that we might not get right. You never know. Maybe hydrogen will turn up to be a big thing in terms of alternative fuels. Steve G is saying, Eric, what do you think about Japan shock absorbers? I don't like. Okay, they are good kukuokoa wakati hauna do, but I don't like them because you don't know what mileage they have covered, what juice imebaki in them, how long they can serve you. Yeah, so that's why I don't like Japan shocks, but zinaokoleanga sana wakati hauna pesa. But the best thing is get a brand new shock from a reputable dealer. DP saying first kaona, can I build Shark 5L? Shark 5L zilikuwa gari fiti sana, lakini lately their parts have become very expensive. David Kamaumaina is saying, is it true these SUVs have their target clientele? The MUX is the best-selling SUV, surpassing the Everest, Fortuners in Australia and most parts of Asia. Yes, that is true. Most SUVs have their target clientele, and that's what I was telling you. Clientele VXL is not necessarily the clientele for MUX. MUX is highly celebrated in those Asian countries. Australia these days has become a very tricky market, especially with the entrance of the Chinese manufacturers. Chris Mohe saying, hey Eric, which one between the old Hilux Surf and the Toyota and the Fortuner would you consider for build kwa mtu amejenga kitengela ndani kwa black cotton? So you see, when you talk about a Hilux Surf and a Fortuner, these are cars from the same lineage. So kuna vitu mingi sana zina affect hii decision. One ni budget, second ni are you a person who is willing to spend time to build a car, but both are capable for that. Evans Mugambi saying, Eric Wakabi, has the Iran war affected Japanese shipping lines? Ama is everything normal? With Japanese shipping lines, vitu zinakuanga, sometimes they'll follow different routes, not unless it will be affected kama inaenda Singapore or something like that. But so far the flow has been a bit stable, not unless we start getting hitches now. But that's something I need to find out. But so far sijasikia maneno. Pat Wanjao is saying, hello and good evening. What's your view about the retread tires, their pros and cons, especially hii time mvua inanyesha? Retread manze, kama unaweza nunua mguu mpya, nunua tu mguu mpya. Tyson Ochola is saying, how will the zero mileage cars in Kenya, in Lamu or meant for Dubai, affect the Kenyan car market prices? They will not affect the Kenyan car market prices because they are left-hand drive, and you cannot legally register a left-hand drive vehicle in Kenya. So they are not in any way going to affect prices of cars in the Kenyan car market. Secondly, these cars bado zitaenda kwao. At the end of the day, zitaenda kwao. Zipora Gishure is saying, how can someone do an online car auction in Japan? Zipora Gishure, unfortunately, you cannot do it directly. You would need to go through somebody who has auction credentials, and they are not available to everyone. So if you need assistance on that, kindly drop us a message. Our number is 0710 844 863. We'll be able to assist in that. Zipora Gishure is saying, is a Range Rover a reliable car? Zipora, which Range Rover? Which country is best to buy a Range Rover? Which Range Rover? I will ask you which Range Rover ni mingi sana. Which Range Rover? Abel Kiboi is saying, hey Wakabi, ndio naingia kesha. Karibu sana Abel. Waweru Peter is saying, please make a suggestion for the upgrade from the Swift MT. I'm open to options. If you can upgrade probably to a Mazda Axela, it will take you closer to where you are with the 6-speed MT. So it's a something that you should actually consider. Brecky saying, for the first time car ownership for a lady, daily commute, work, occasionally long drives to the countryside with a maximum budget of 2 million. 2 million, unajua siku hizi ni pesa kidogo sana kwa gari. So we see even Mazda Axelas are about the 2 million mark right now. So from this, let me see. What are they looking at? Are you looking at fuel economy? Are you looking at reliability? Are you looking at ease of maintenance? Are you looking at space? There are so many things that will actually affect this particular decision here. The best time is anasema Eric Wakabi, enda gym kama Kasongo. What's the problem? What's the problem with Subarus, with modern Subarus? They are that unreliable. The problem is not the car. The problem is the owners. The best team is saying Eric Wakabi, Simole Duncan Derito is saying Subaru SD5, my favorite. What's the price currently for the non-turbo one? Hiyo inalingana na condition ya gari. Chupa Chip is saying 2016 Subaru Forester Turbo or 2012 Lexus. Hiyo kwanza Subaru Forester Turbo, hiyo 2016 XT, hiyo ni gari inaweza kusumbua sana and the engines are very expensive. So I would definitely go for the Lexus. Zipora Gishuri, I had to choose between a Land Cruiser Prado G150 and the LC200 and the Range Rover Autobiography. Hey, Zipora, you see, the J150 is not in this category because the J120 is cannot be placed directly to the LC200. In fact, these two, the comparison should be the LC200 and the Range Rover Autobiography. So if you're looking at the Range Rover Autobiography, then you're looking at an ultra luxury vehicle. So there are things that you should really look at before you choose these cars. One of them is your budget. Sababu budget ya LC200 na Autobiography ni tofauti sana. I think what you need, Zipora, is first of all understand what you're looking for, because the person who is buying an LC200 is not the same person who is buying an Autobiography. Autobiography, this is purely a show car. Like it's not a vehicle that you will take off-roading. Any gari ya town, any gari, it's a ceremonial vehicle. LC200 can be used both as a ceremonial vehicle and as a workhorse. So for you to make these decisions, kwanza ondoa Prado kabisa, because the Prado does not fit in that category. Secondly, first of all, have a list of what am I looking for in a car, what is my budget, and that will now lead us to making the decision on the two cars. Otherwise, tutakuwa tu mention magari na they are very different cars. Ni kama kuuliza mtu between nguo ya mtush na nguo ya kwenda kununua Levi, ni gani na nafaa kununua. That's the kind of vibe we are getting from this question. So it's good to know what are you looking for in between these two cars. That will help you make the decision. Zipora Gishure, nimekuambia you cannot access the Japanese auction just like that. You need somebody with auction credentials. Alvin Boss is saying budget ya 1.5 to 1.7 staki Vitz Demio Fit Swift. Naweza pata gari gani mzuri showroom? 1.5 to 1.7. Unless uende utafute zile Nissan Sylphy. Which other vehicle can fit? Toyota Aqua inaweza fit hiyo category. Hiyo pesa imekuwa kidogo. Bei ya magari imepanda sana. Itaendelea kupanda by the way. Let me see. So now Zipporah is asking, is an air suspension okay for reliability? Even the LC200 still has air suspension. Now, and that is why now I would like you to know, what are you looking for in a car? Zipporah, I think first of all, maswali, you need to, don't ask the question first. First of all, understand both cars and understand what you're looking for in a car. Sababu naona ni kama yes, you need to first of all know what you're looking for in a car. Radiant Jury saying, I'm thinking of getting a Nissan Note DIGS 26 in the first car. Any advice? Get a clean one. Usinunue gari imechokorwa. Alex Kai saying, Wakabi, what's your take on salvage cars? Is it possible to import one to Kenya? And if yes, the procedure, you cannot import a salvage car in Kenya. Where's import gari a salvage Kenya? Remember, there is it has to pass through inspection. You can only import a roadworthy vehicle in Kenya. Mark is saying, hi Eric, for someone choosing between a Mazda CX-8 2.2D and a Toyota Harrier, what should I consider? Number one, the CX-8 has more space because it's if you get the higher trims like the exclusive, they have captain seats at the back, so it will be a 6-seater. You know, the lower trims, it's going to be a 7-seater. So yeah, that's one advantage over the Harrier. If you're buying a Harrier that can match up CX-8, you'll have to buy the Harrier that is called the ASU65, the one that comes with a 6-speed automatic transmission and a turbocharged diesel engine. Ukinunua ile ingine mzembe, ile 2 liter NA na yenye iko na CVT, hiyo hata haiwezi karibiana. Trending is saying, I have had my Nissan Panamera. We don't have a Nissan Panamera. Unasema Nissan Primera ama Nissan Panamera? It should be a Primera. Alicia Kirui saying, so engine rebuilds, if you get somebody who does the rebuild properly, you're not going to have any problems whatsoever. Alicia Kirui saying, what's the approximate cost of sourcing a low mileage VW Golf TCI under 40k from SA? Alicia, Golf's usisource SA, Golf source Japan. Zipporah Gishuru is saying, between the Japanese car auction, Dubai car auction, and UK car auction, which is the best value for money? First of all, you cannot buy a right-hand drive in a Dubai car auction. There is a Dubai in left hand. So I'll tell you that ya kwanza. Na ukisikia gari right hand iko Dubai na inauzwa, there is a problem. Hiyo most likely is an accident vehicle from Australia, imepelekwa Dubai, imetengenezwa patch up, inatumwa Kenya, because Dubai have left hand drive vehicles. So in terms of auctions, auctions, you can't say which one is value for money. Auctions, you bid. It's who gives the highest bid. That's how auctions work. Relaxing Grain asema, hey Eric, what about Volvo V40 T4 for a first-time car owner? If you can be able to get a good support group, the V40 would be a good car. Yes, but it's not a very straightforward car. It's a nice car. It drives very far, drives like a dream. Very good in terms of safety. Quite a performer, but you need to be in a Volvo group ndio upate hizo spares vizuri. Zipporah Kishure, sitajibu maswali zako sababu naona zinaanza kupotea, because we can't shift from a Range Rover to a Honda Vezel. So I'm going to deliberately skip that question about the Vezel. Evans Bugambi is saying, what's wrong with the Subaru Impreza 1600cc Wakabi? It's very lazy. Kenua is saying, hi Wakabi, I'm selling my 2015 Audi 6-speed manual transmission UK spec. Your gari ni moto. The one you helped me pre-purchase early this year. If anyone interested can hit me up. Guys, if you're looking for manual Auris, Kinyo has one. Na hiyo gari ni moto. Yes, I can vouch for that car because I inspected it when you are buying. So if Kinyo, fanya hivi, do this Kinyo, just pin your number, just give these guys your number so that they can be able to have a glimpse of your car, because guys, that car, it's a nice car, especially for guys who love thrill. Hiyo gari ni fiti. So naona it's 910. Trevi Wasonga naona ameweka super chat pale, sema RAV4 2019 and hybrid versus Mazda petrols economy. So with the RAV4 2019s, the only thing that will make the CX5s shine is the gearbox, because You see now the RAV4s come with a CVT with a physical fast gear, but the Mazdas have a 6-speed torque converter automatic. Ukiangalia fuel economy, it depends, because you see now fuel economy is relative because driving varies, but in terms of handling, when hiyo gari na enjoy, utaenjoy kuendesha CX5 kushinda kuendesha RAV4, but ukienda off-road the RAV4 will shine. So that's what I'm going to tell you, Trevor. So just as you say, hey Eric, Toyota Porte 1300cc as a budget car, hiyo ni gari fiti. Peter Kachezi saying, hi CK, 250 1800cc versus 2000cc, which one would you take? I would go for the 2-liter. Yeah, I would go for the 2-liter. Mark Gachagu is saying, hi Wakabi, thank you for what you do. I want to upgrade my 2009 RAV4. What other SUV would you recommend for 1.5 budget? I still want to go over bumps, rough roads, comfortably. So for that you can get a Honda CRV. Unaweza pata CRV, unaweza pata. The problem with the Suzuki is that they are a bit thirsty and their engines can be quite pricey ukipatana na mbaya. So you can look at a CRV, you can look at CRV ni moja. I'm trying to look at the cars that would actually make sense. You can look for Prado J95, by the way, itafika hiyo bei. Hata Prado J95 unaweza pata. Spider Marine is saying, good evening, pokea salamu from Jeff kutoka Homa Bay, one of your biggest fans. Asante sana Jeff. Tulikumi sana last Wednesday. Keep up the good work. Between Crown 2018 and Atenza 2018, gani poa. So Jeff, asante sana for your continued support. So those two cars are quite different in terms of what they offer, and I'm going to explain why. You see, the Crown is rear wheel drive, the Atenza is front wheel drive. So in terms of driving dynamics, they are very, very, very different. In terms of, you see, the Crown is a semi-luxury sedan. The Atenza is somewhere in the up market of an econobox. In terms of, if you're looking for luxury, the Crown Crown is sawa. Crown is, if you're looking for luxury, and if you don't mind the budget, so the Crown is actually something that I would go personally. I would go for a Crown over an Atenza any day, anytime. So let's see. Kabibu anasema, is it cheaper to import a Jimny 1.5 3-door 5-door from South Africa compared to JDM? So the South African market is very tricky because it all depends on how much is the person selling their car. So you can't clear, especially for Jimneys, you can't say. You see, the reason why VXLs are very straightforward to get them from South Africa is because VXLs, kama unapata VXL, ni either unanunua 0 mileage sifao, na sahi hakuna, because zimeuzwa zote, now they are selling the J250, or South Africa. So that's why you see us getting VXLs from South Africa. Other vehicles, it can be very tricky because the better the condition, the more expensive the car. The worse the condition, the cheaper the car. Ujua say South Africa bado wanatumia magari kama sisi wa Kenya. So there are some, if you're not keen in looking at the car, you might buy a car that is not very healthy. But if you get a good one, you can actually get a very good one. So it's very, I can say the price is relative. The price is very relative. The other thing about SA, we don't have an auction like the one we have in Japan. Unaona? So SA ni ile ya unaenda kutafuta gari. Like it's more or less like you're looking for a car on Gigi ama unatafuta gari kwa showroom. So that's why I can say that the answer to that question would be, it is very relative. It is very relative. Abel Kimbo is saying, Eric, mbona Suzuki Jimny ni expensive hivi? Jimnys are naturally expensive. It's hard to explain, but they are nice cars. Paul Kimeme is saying, hi CK, watching from Langata, nice show as always. Asante sana. Asante sana. At NCBA anasema Ford Ranger 3.2, 2.2 or 2.0. 3.2 any day. It's quite unfortunate that the 3.2 was phased out. Now we have to cope with that 2.0 by turbo, but if I was to be asked, 3.2 Rangers were the best. Godfrey Kingori is saying, my Nissan Lazio 2011 imeanza jacking. Mechanic has been insisting that the gearbox is fine because it's revving up well, but I've done my research But I have, so if you're looking for a gearbox mech, utasaidiwa na Mose wa CVT. So do this, just inbox us your hi, and you will get a response ya number ya Moses. Moses is going to assist you very, very, very well. Last question. Googie James is saying, reason for asking about the resale value, because I've been observing how currently cars are losing value, especially Toyota. Gari zenye zinaingia from Japan with 2M and below, after half a year, most of them lose over 500k. Si unajua gari lazima, you see the newer cars lose value sana. Gari yenye umenunua, you see, if you buy let me give you a perfect example. If you were to even buy a 0 mileage truck today, na useme unauza kesho, you will even lose not even 500,000, you will lose upwards of $1 million. If you buy an 8-year-old or foreign used vehicle, as we call them here, and then you sell it after a month, you'll be losing over $500,000, irrespective of which make and model the vehicle is. And that is because, you see, newer vehicles, kwa nini unauza? That's the question. Because you see, most people who can buy that vehicle, they can afford to buy a newer vehicle. So you have a very thin niche of people who would be willing to buy that vehicle. But 1-2 years down the line, the vehicle has lost significant value to be afforded by a larger pool of people. So what happens is, because of demand and supply, after a year or two, the vehicle will start holding value. But ukinunua tu, tuseme umenunua hata ununue RAV4 sahi ya 2019, useme unaiuza kesho, you will lose almost $1 million. Sawa. So that's it. I believe we have had an interesting show. Poleni sana for the hitches we have had, but I'm glad we managed to have that show and get to interact as we normally do. On Monday, we have a very interesting show lined up for you. It's about our South African experience. The other thing is, on Friday and Saturday, if you're in Eldoret and its environs, bring your car to Neon Mobility. Neon Mobility is our subsidiary. It's part of Autoconnect. In fact, the full name for Neon Mobility is normally Neon Mobility by Autoconnect Kenya, and we serve, tunawaletea Subaru Kenya pale wakuje waangalie magari zenyu for free and give amazing discounts on parts. I hope this has been an inciting show. So see you on Monday. Tukifanya hiyo show na watu Eldoret, nitakuwa LD weekend. So leteni hiyo music. Over and out. Have a good night.